Hi, Susan with the Magical Forest Bookstore here. And I got to thinking that I'm weird in a good way. And I think most people are weird in a good way. Some are definitely not weird in a good way. But I want to embrace my weirdness. And I want to think about how I can bring more weird into the store. So there are some things that just speak to me, like they make sense to me and I get it and I'm like, that is cool. I get it. I like it. So a couple of them are books, and I'll take a look around and see if anything else. If someone looks at it and thinks I'm using weird in a pejorative way, I'm not. I'm loving weird stuff because I've never been normal, whatever normal means. I've always felt odd. And so I think that I really need to do a better job at embracing that. So one of the books that really explains weirdness well is this book. So this is Wayward. I think I've talked about this before. Wayward is using, the W-E-Y word. It's referring to the Wayward sisters in Macbeth, the more commonly known as the Three Witches. So they're describing them as being unusual and out of the ordinary. Another use of the word weird is not natural. And this book came in last week. A gentleman who works in Barrington but lives actually in Michigan stopped in and asked if I could carry his books in the store. And I took a look at them and said, yes, absolutely. They're a little different from the genre. These are definitely grown-up books that I'm talking about, but a little bit different from the genres that I have been carrying in here. But I love the artwork. So this is The Devil's Gunt. This is written in vernacular, so it is, as you're reading it, you can kind of hear the sound of the voice in your head, which is really cool. It reminds me of The Color Purple. This is by Geraldine Rice, and I love this artwork. I think it is so cool. And it may not be a story that I would typically be drawn to if I just heard the story, because it's about the devil and how things go a little awry for this particular story for the devil. So I think that's cool. Other weird things that I like in the store. There are certain stories that I like that I think are funny. Granted, most of what I have in the store is for kids. I don't have the lights on right now because it's cooler with the lights off, and I just kind of like that. So one of the things that I like that is weird, that is a little bit different, is there is a series of books. There's a third one that's going to be coming out later this year, but The Cafe at the Edge of the Woods, because it's got like trolls and monsters, and this is a really popular story, and ogres and witches and all sorts of fun different creatures. And I like scary stories, and I like things that are impossibly sweet. And like I have a few books about grief, like this one. This is called Brave Little Bird. Now, in a different lifetime, I worked for Catholic cemeteries in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the idea of being around grief made sense to me just because I had some significant deaths in my life at a young age, so I understood it and it made sense to me. And I think it's important to have stories to help children through grief. Brave Little Bird is about a man that makes music, and You know, spoiler alert, he dies at the end of it, and the family's very sad, but they find a way to keep his music alive. And the bird is essential to that story. So I think that's, I think people think death is weird, and, it's very natural, it's very normal. I like quirky stories. I like things that just kind of go, hey, that's a little bit different. Like when I look at cards, for example, where is my favorite one? Here we go. This is like one of my favorite cards that I carry here because it is different. Put that there. I like sweet things. I like things that are innocent. I love this cat because, if you've ever had a cat, you've seen a cat's eyes like this, where it looks like it's about to just go berserk. I love that. So, what do you think? You think I should include a little bit more weird stuff in the store? Just embrace who I am? I think that's a good idea. I think that would be fun. And I hope that people know they can be weird here, because you know what? We are all weird. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Stay cool. The heat is almost over. We're going to have some major thunderstorms rolling in later this weekend. Hopefully that won't affect the fireworks, but you don't know. And I will talk to you next time. Bye. Take care.